Okay, let's talk about something I think we can all relate to. You want to build good habits, right? But you just feel like you have absolutely zero discipline to make them stick. If that sounds like you, stick around, because what we're about to cover might just completely change how you see yourself and your chances of success.
Does this hit a little too close to home? It's that same old frustrating cycle, isn't it? You get a burst of motivation, you start a new routine, maybe it's exercising or writing or eating better, and then what happens? A week later, maybe two, it's all just fallen apart. But here's the thing, the problem isn't you. It's not your lack of discipline. The problem is your entire strategy relies on a resource you've just never had a ton of.
And what's the advice you always hear? Just try harder, or just be more disciplined. That's like telling someone who can't swim to just flap their arms harder when you've thrown them in the deep end. It's completely useless advice because it ignores the real problem. So yeah, let's just toss that advice right out the window and build a system that actually works.
So here's the game plan. First, we are going to completely debunk this myth that you need more discipline. Then, we're going to get super practical and talk about how to build a habit so tiny you literally can't fail. After that, we'll learn how to rig the playing field by designing your environment for success. And finally, we'll cover the good enough mindset that makes it all sustainable.
All right, first up, let's just tear down this whole myth of discipline. The big idea here is that this isn't some personal flaw you have that needs to be fixed. It's a strategy problem. It was never about trying to find more willpower. It's about building a much, much smarter system.
The old advice, the advice that's failed you time and time again, has you just banging your head against a wall, trying to force yourself to be someone you're not. This new approach, it's completely different. The goal is not to become disciplined. No, the goal is to design a life where discipline is basically optional. So what do I mean by a system? Well, it's about becoming the architect of your own behavior. You know those super consistent people? It's not that they have some superhuman willpower gene. Nope. They've just engineered their world so that the right choice is also the easiest choice. They've taken the decision-making out of the equation. This next part requires a little bit of radical acceptance. You have to stop waiting for some future disciplined you to just magically appear one morning. That person is not coming. But listen, that's not a defeat. That is clarity. Because the moment you stop relying on a tool you don't have, you can finally start building a system for the person you actually are, right now.
Okay, so the theory is great, but if the goal is to build a system, where on earth do we start? We start with the very first building block, the tiny habit. I'm talking about a habit so small it is physically impossible to fail at it.
So when you think about it, what is the perfect size for a brand new habit? Is it working out for 30 minutes? Is it writing 500 words a day? Well, the answer is probably not what you think it is. The right size for a new habit is so small that it feels, well, ridiculous, pointless even. One push-up, writing one single sentence, meditating for one breath. Your brain is going to scream at you, "This is pointless. This won't do anything." Ignore it. The goal right now isn't the result. The goal is to build the muscle of consistency. Because guess what? You can't be too busy or too tired for one push-up. And here's the magic formula. First, you find an anchor. That's something you already do every day without thinking, like pouring your morning coffee. Then you attach your tiny habit. So it becomes, after I pour my morning coffee, I will write one sentence. And then, and this is so important, you celebrate immediately. A little fist pump, saying yes out loud. It sounds silly, I know, but it gives your brain an immediate hit of dopamine, which starts wiring that habit in as a good thing.
All right, so you've got your tiny habit. Now it's time to level up and really amplify its power. We're going to rig the playing field. This is all about designing your environment to make your success the most likely, almost inevitable outcome.
Think about it like this. Every single decision you have to make is a chance to fail. It's a little exit ramp where your brain can choose the easier, more comfortable path. So what's the solution? You eliminate those decisions before they can even pop up. So for example, if you want to work out in the morning, lay out your clothes the night before. When you wake up, there's no decision. If you want to write, the night before, open your laptop to a blank document. When you sit down, there's no decision. You're simply making the right choice, the default choice, by removing all the friction.
And you can do the exact opposite for your bad habits. You want to add friction, make them harder to do. Delete those distracting apps from your phone's home screen. Unplug the TV and put the remote in a drawer in another room. You're basically weaponizing your own laziness. When the bad choice takes more effort than the good one, you'll naturally drift towards the good one. It's brilliant.
Here's another really powerful tool.
Visual accountability. Get a cheap wall calendar, and every single day you do your tiny habit, draw a big red X over that day. Your only job becomes don't break the chain. I'm telling you, after you get a week of X's in a row, you will not want to see that blank square. It's not about discipline, it's about your brain's simple, powerful desire to not mess up a pattern.
But look, even the best system in the world needs the right mindset to survive. And this is the final, crucial piece of the puzzle. You have to learn to embrace good enough, because perfectionism is the #1 enemy of consistency.
You need to get this quote tattooed on your brain. So many people quit the second things aren't perfect. They have one bad workout or they miss one day and they think, well, that's it, it's ruined. No, no, no. That's not how it works. The point is just to show up. Doing it badly is infinitely, infinitely better than not doing it at all.
And you have to expect this journey. The first few days are easy, right? It's new and exciting, but somewhere around week 2 or 3, you're going to hit what's called the dip. The novelty wears off, your motivation tanks, and you will want to quit. This is not a sign of failure. This is a normal, predictable part of the process. And just knowing it's coming helps you push right through it.
And what about all those other times you tried and failed? That's not evidence that you're a failure. It's data. It's valuable research. Each one of those failures tells you exactly where your old system broke down. Did you quit when you got busy? Okay, your habit was too big. Did you quit because you got bored? Okay, you needed more variety. Use that data to build a better, stronger, unbreakable system this time.
When this system starts clicking, the transformation is pretty incredible. In the first week, you'll just be shocked that you're actually doing the thing every day. By the end of the first month, you'll look back and realize you've been more consistent than you've ever been in your life. And after a few months, you won't even have to think about it anymore. The habit just becomes part of who you are.
And here is the beautiful, kind of mind-bending insight at the heart of all of this. You haven't magically transformed into a disciplined person. You're the same person you were when you started. The only thing that's changed is you've built a system around yourself that makes discipline almost completely unnecessary.
So please, stop fighting who you are. Stop trying to fix yourself. Instead, start working with who you are. Become the architect of your own life. Design a system around yourself that makes success the easiest and most obvious path to take.